Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and depression counselor. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. Over the past months, and actually even years, I've been talking about various tools and techniques to heal from depression. One of the things I've not mentioned very much is spiritual healing. This is because you can't really turn spiritual healing on like a water faucet. You can't take a pill and have a spiritual experience. On the other hand, I think the spiritual realm is real and in some cases can assist in recovering from depression. Mental health researchers have identified something called religious coping, which is defined as a spiritual belief or activity to help one manage emotional stress or physical discomfort. In other words, people with a defined spiritual philosophy or worldview seem to cope better with life challenges and stresses. This was confirmed by a study with Duke University in 1999 that looked into the lives of 4,000 people who attended a church or house of worship. And in fact, they found that those people had less incidence of depression or anxiety than the average population. Secondly, there's my own experience of spiritual healing, which I talk about in detail in my video, Healing from Depression Naturally. I'll give you the short version. In the summer of 1997, I was undergoing a major depressive disorder. None of the treatments was working. I was defined by psychiatrists as depression resistant or treatment resistant. I wasn't resistant to depression, I was in the midst of it, but I was treatment resistant. At that point, the minister of our church said, "Doug, I have an idea. When one of our members had cancer, we prayed over them as a group and it really seemed to help. Why don't you bring your wife and your best friends and your social worker and any other people in your support team and bring them to church on July 14th, and I'll bring myself, the pastoral care team, associate ministers, and we'll all get together as a group and see if we can do together what we can't do by ourselves." So I came, and what they did is they had me craft what I call a vision statement of wellness, which I talk about in the book Healing from Depression. It was basically a statement of how my life would look or feel if I were healed from depression and anxiety. I gave them each a copy and I said, "Please look at this and pray over this every day at 9 in the morning." I know that was a big commitment, but people were more than willing to help me out by doing that. Within a month, I noticed my symptoms were about 50% better. Within 3 months, they were totally gone, not to reoccur. So I wasn't doing anything else during this time. I wasn't taking medication. I wasn't really involved in therapy. The only thing that was different, it was I was involved with this prayer group. And my psychiatrist thought it was coincidence, but I don't think it could have been. Something about my participation in this group of people thinking positively about me and praying for me and holding me in the light, something made the difference. Of course, I'm not the only person who claims he's had a spiritual experience or spiritual healing. There is anecdotal evidence of spiritual healings that have taken place around the world in places such as Lourdes. As some of you may know, a young 16-year-old girl named Bernadette had a vision of the Virgin Mary in the town of Lourdes, France. And since that time, millions of people have flocked to Lourdes in search of healing, and many of them have claimed they've been healed. And recently, the Catholic Church actually investigated these healings and deemed them legitimate, thereby earning the name miracles. Of course, there's the New Testament and many other spiritual books where teachers, prophets do healings. Jesus, of course, cast out demons from this one individual, probably had a mental illness, and the person was healed. Is there any scientific evidence to support this premise of spiritual healing? Fortunately, there is. In his groundbreaking book called Healing Words, author and MD Larry Dossey covers various studies on the effects of prayer and healing. And one group he ran into while researching the book is called the Spindrift Foundation, located right down the road from me in Salem, Oregon. And one of the studies they did concerned the effects of prayer on germination of seeds. And they found that rye seeds that were prayed over basically germinated more quickly than seeds that were not. And these and other studies in the book suggest that prayer can actually have an impact on physical matter. And since the brain is a physical organism, you can conclude that prayer can affect that and thereby help a person to heal from depression. By the way, it would be interesting to do research on Google, like by putting the word scientific evidence of prayer and see what comes up. I didn't do this for this video, but I bet we'd get some pretty interesting results if we did that. Finally, most all spiritual traditions emphasize service as a part of the spiritual path. And an article in Psychology Today reported on a phenomenon called helper's high, which is a physiological change that happens in the body when people do service. Endorphins are released and the person feels tremendous physical and emotional well-being. So engaging in spiritual activities can help you feel a lot better. This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something from it. If you want to leave your comments for me, simply leave them in the comments section, or you can email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you'd like to visit my website, healingfromdepression.com, or want to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, simply click on the links in the closing credits and you will be taken to those areas. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you.